The book was fast-paced and so addictive. Hello besties! Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another weekly reading vlog. By the time you are watching this, you've already watched my other weekly reading vlog and I still didn't upload it yet while I'm filming this, so I don't know if you are going to love that one or not, but because I loved filming that one so much, it felt like sitting down with friends, and it felt so good to sit and talk about my thoughts and emotion while I was reading the book. So I decided I want to do it again. So here we are. Today is Monday, and yesterday I finished A Tempest of Tea, and I picked up The Crimson Moth, and currently I'm on page, I think 198, chapter 29. So I think halfway through the book, you can say that. And I'm enjoying this so much. As I told you before, I wanted to read this book as soon as possible because I was just intrigued with the character art. And like, look at them. And the book is absolutely stunning. This is one of the most beautiful books that Fairloot did for this year. So I wanted to love the story as much as I loved the book, the outside book. And I'm happy to report I'm enjoying this so much. It is about Rune. Her name is Rune. And Rune lived in a world where there were two queen witches ruling 2 years ago, but they got usurped and all the witches have been purged and are still being purged until this day. And among those witches was Rune's grandma. And before she died, she asked Rune to find her best friend, her grandma's best friend. Her name is Seraphine Oak. And she asked her to find her because Seraphine has information that Rune's grandma didn't have the time to tell her about. I presume maybe about her identity or about her powers or stuff like that. So the main plot of this book right now, we are trying to find Seraphine and save her from the Bloodguard clutches. The Bloodguard are the hunters, the witch hunters. And at the same time, Rune is, you can say, she's like a witch vigilante. She's trying to save as many witches as she can from the prisons where the hunters catch them. So, and they call her the Crimson Moth because she always signs with a moth with blood, because she uses blood to cast her spells. Yes, about the magic system, they cast spell using these drawings, and the drawings, they have to do them with blood. And the stronger the spell, the more complicated the spell, the fresher the blood, and you need to use more blood to cast the spell. So this is like the first obstacle because Rune do not want to scar herself, because the scars, when witches scar themselves to take blood to cast a spell, the scar sticks and becomes like silver. So they know, the guards will know about her. So she doesn't want that because that's the first thing that they will look for when they suspect that that person is a witch. So she has other things, other methods to collect blood. I'm not going to tell you about them. You will find them by yourselves when you read the book. And she has two friends. The only people that know about her true identity are her two best friends, Verity and Alex. And Alex's brother, Gideon, the handsome man right here, is the head of the Bloodguard, and he's known for his ruthlessness, and he's like notorious that he's like unforgiving toward witches. And Rune wants to get close to Gideon because of course he's the head of the guard and he has more information on the whereabouts of Seraphine, where she can be. So she wants to get close to him, but he's like very suspicious of everyone and very smart. And we follow Rune as she's from the high society, she's wealthy, she lives in this mansion, and she owns ships for importing and exporting goods, and she's just known for throwing these parties, having a lot of people in her house, and like going to theaters. And she's basically portraying herself to society as this shallow, superficial young lady that only cares about like designer clothes, designer gowns, because we are in a Victorian setting. And I'm loving Rune's character so much. She's cunning. She knows how to play dumb. And I love that she's putting her life on stake, her best friends too, to save all these innocent people. And I'm loving the pacing too. We are always plotting, scheming, or there is always like action or revelations happening. So yeah, I'm very much enjoying this. And for the rest of the week, I decided I want to read When the Moon Hatched because I'm ahead on my TBR, so I think I can add more books to my TBR for this month. And also, one of you guys, Lucy, she messaged me on Instagram. She was like, okay, bestie, drop everything. You need to read this right now. It's 6 out of 5 stars. It is so good. And I was like, you messaged me in the perfect timing ever because I was thinking about adding more books to my TBR for this month. So absolutely, I'm reading When the Moon Hatched this week. And of course, I'm going to let you know what I think about it while I'm reading it. Spoiler free, of course. And yeah, I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Lucy. And I'm so excited because I'm also buying special editions of this book. So it makes perfect sense to read it. And a lot of people are loving it. And now that Lucy pushed me, it is happening. And I also want to add another book for this week. I want to read a thriller. And that would be either Five Survive by Holly Jackson or her newest release, The Reappearance of Rachel Price. We will see about that. One of them is happening this week along with When the Moon Hatched. And yeah, I'm so excited for the TBR of this week. And also, I'm very hopeful that I'm going to get a 5-star reading week. So yeah, I'm going to continue reading The Crimson Moth. And I will get back to you once I have maybe finished it or towards the end, once I have more updates. Okay, you guys. Just finished The Crimson Moth and I'm so happy to report that I am keeping this beauty. Oh my god. This was so good. It was the story, the plot line was so captivating, and it is true enemies to lovers. They hate each other. Not only because he's a witch hunter, she hated him from the first time she has met him. So it's a hate through and through, and it was so good. I loved Rune's character. She's kind-hearted, she's loyal to her friends and her family and her kind, and she doesn't give up easily. And I loved following her around to parties, to theaters, to organizing parties, and also while she's trying to save witches, and especially while she's trying to gather information and while she's trying to save Seraphine. I also loved, as I said, the romance was so good. I loved how we got 2 POVs. This is a dual POV, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. We follow Gideon's POV and Rune's POV. And you understand from both of them why he hates witches that much and what he thinks of her and of the witches in general. And also, of course, we follow our main character Rune, and it made the story so much richer because at the same time, while we are following Rune as she's plotting and scheming, we are also following Gideon in his own plotline as he's plotting and scheming to catch the Crimson Moth. So it was so entertaining. And also there was a twist at the end of the book, but it wasn't a twist for me. I guessed it miles and miles away. And I think if you pay attention, you will be able to guess it too. It was not that hard, but it didn't ruin the ending for me. I still enjoyed the ending so much. And I really loved the ending because it makes you want to continue on with the duology. This is going to be a duology. And yeah, if I want to be picky, if I want to give it a critique, one thing is I wish it had a map, because the world building, first of all, the world building was lacking a little bit, to be honest. Secondly, when they mention the places where they are going, like her house, Alex's house, Gideon's house, and like going around the city, it was a little bit confusing to me to imagine where everything is. But I would say if you are tabbing the book, I think you will be able to understand where everything is if you are tabbing the world building and stuff like that. But I think it really needs a map. And also, I mean, we are on an island, and they talk about the mainland, the main continent. And I kind of don't know, I felt like I didn't know how big the world is. And at the same time, they mention only one city in the mainland. And I know that witches that she saves, they go by ship to the mainland, and I think they are living there, but I don't know if they are living in the shadows, like hiding their identities, or like they have witches there, or maybe it is something that I missed in the book. Also, on the island, I think that we are missing some descriptions. I don't know. I felt like something was missing in the world building, and definitely a map. If I want to be picky. Other than that, I really enjoyed my ride with the book. I mean, that didn't take away from my enjoyment of this book whatsoever. I still loved reading this book, and I'm 100% going to pick up book 2 when it comes out. So yeah, The Crimson Moth is now done, and I'm so happy that we opened the week with a great book. And I am so excited to read When the Moon Hatched up next, because today also is the release date of the audiobook, and I'm getting the audiobook too, and we are going to read it. I will follow on my Kindle and read the book, and I'm so excited to read When the Moon Hatched. And of course, I will get back to you once I have more updates about that book. So yeah, I will be seeing you soon. Okay, you guys, I am 17 chapters into When the Moon Hatched, and I have thoughts. That's why we are here. First of all, the world building. The world building is a lot, and it is completely different from our world. Even the day and night cycles, everything. Sarah A. Parker she got the tools. She got the tools, and she's building her world, and we are like, hold up, please take it step by step, because it's a lot. And I was like using my whole brain power, especially in the beginning of the book when we get all the information. You need to focus. During the prologue and after the prologue, chapter 1, chapter 2, you need to focus to understand what the world looks like, how it was built, the history, grasp a little bit of the new words that she is using, and also the relationship between the elementals and the nulls, and like how things are working. And also, of course, like what it looks like a little bit. Try to imagine where you are. So you need to focus in the beginning of the book. Okay, this world was created by 5 gods. We have Kalis, god of ether. We have Rain, god of water. We have Ignis, god of fire. We have Balder, god of ground. And we have Claude, goddess of air. So we have 2 goddesses, goddess of air, goddess of water, Rain and Claude, and the rest of them are gods. Kalis, Ignis, and Balder. And people started to learn slowly their song, which means the people who could hear the song of the gods, who could hear the language of the gods, could interact with them, and also they are gifted with the powers of the god that they could listen to. For example, if you listen to Claude, you have the air power gifted to you by Claude, and so on. And people who wield power are called elementals, and people who can hear the elemental song wear these elemental beads to show off, because they are proud to show off which god they can wield power from. And the people who do not listen to any of the elemental songs, they are called the nulls. They are people who are considered less than the people who can wield power. So they are like used like slaves. Even families who have children who cannot hear elemental songs, they end up selling them because they cannot provide for them, and like stuff like that. Very, very heart-aching things that are happening in this world for the people who cannot wield any power. And also, the gods created 3 kinds of dragons. I'm not going to describe them for you. You have to read the books and discover them by yourselves, because it is a lot. But they are 3. Molten Maws, Moon Plumes, and Cyber Scythes. and all of them look absolutely beautiful, out of this world, mesmerizing, amazing. The description of the dragons was a chef's kiss. I could see them in my mind's eye. I could see them clearly, and I loved that so much. And people being the destructive humans that we are, because what are we here for if not to destroy the world? They started hunting down those poor dragons and using their powers to wage wars against each other and to build kingdoms, of course, because we love doing that. And after these wars and after the kingdoms were built, the blood shed from these dragons calcified and became what they call now the dragon bloodstones, which is the currency that they use right now as money. And in reaction to the hideous things that happened to these poor dragons, some of them flew up in the sky, very high up, out of the gravity, and they curled up into balls and calcified and formed moons. Moons that are now visible to the human eye. So imagine the sky that they have filled with moons that are originally curled up dragons calcified. When that happened in the history, after a certain period of time, some moons were falling, crashing down on the earth like meteorites, and of course brought destruction to this planet and the humans. And after the 7th moonfall, 4 of the gods, Ignis, Balder, Claude, and Rain, conspired with each other and ambushed and trapped Caelus, because they accused him of using his power, or they accused him that he is the reason why these moon dragons fell from the sky, because Caelus is the ether. So what they did is they trapped his essence in this black crystal that is now called the ether stone, and they put that stone into a diadem, and they crowned, at that time, they crowned the most powerful fey king with that crown, because the magic to trap him needs a guardian, so they can draw the energy from the guardian. The guardian has to be powerful to draw the energy from him to keep the magic on and to keep Caelus trapped in the stone. And from that time, the crown has been passed down through generations and kept in the same bloodline. And at the beginning of the story, we follow Rave. Rave, she's an Elder Blade, which means that she's an assassin that is working for a famous group of rebels who are working to fight for the weak and save as many poor kids as they can and counteract the tyranny of the kingdoms, especially the crown in the Fade. The Fade is the kingdom where Rave lives, but the reach of the group of rebel, their reach stretches all over the world. So they are very famous and they are very well known. And of course, the crown wants to hunt them down and get rid of them. And the story opens with Rave on a mission. We see how cunning, ruthless, how she has this heart of gold. She stands up for the weak. And like you see that she is fighting with herself because she does not want to show too many emotions to the people she cares for, because everyone she cared for, she has lost. And while she was on that mission, she meets a mysterious man. He was hooded and he thinks that he saved her from a certain instance. And then she meets him again. I don't want to say a lot, but this man reoccurs a lot in the story. And I loved the writing style. Even though in the beginning of the book we got a lot of world building, the story was so interesting and gripping, and it was so different from what I am used to. I was going to say we are used to, but I don't know. Very, very different. The cycles, the days, not the same. They call it Aurora cycle. The day and the night is not the same, and it was like so fascinating to build this world little by little in my head. And I fell in love with our main character, and the action gripped me from the beginning. You already know I love when a book opens up with action scenes. So yeah, and now I'm a little bit further into the book, so a lot of things happened, and we will see where that will go. And we already have like a very, very sad moment, a very heartbreaking moment that happened early on too. And I really want to see what are the consequences of that, because now she's not in a very good position. So yeah. Oh, and also we are alternating between the now and the before, because we are also getting chapters from a diary from a small princess who is trying to hunt a dragon egg, because people in the past, they hunted dragon eggs. They want to take the egg because when the dragon hatched, then it became theirs. And of course, it gives them more power. I don't know if they get more magical power, because I'm not that far into the book, but and even if I know, I think I'm not going to let you know. I want you to discover as much by yourselves as you can. So that's why I'm being a little bit vague. But yeah, I am loving the story so far. And of course, I will get back to you with more updates soon. Okay, you guys, I know I didn't update you while I was reading When the Moon Hatched, but I finished it. I know. I finished it, I think in the span of 3 days. I think I started reading this book on Wednesday, I think, and now is Friday. And oh my God, it is a 6-star book. I am filled with all these emotions. I needed like to take a breath for a moment before to gather all my thoughts about it before I could sit down and talk with you guys. When I finished the book, I talked directly. I was talking with Lucy because she's the one that pushed me, and we were screaming together basically. The book. Oh my God. I'm going to tell you the same thing that she told me. You need to read this book. You need to read this book as soon as possible. Just squeeze it in your TBR. Eliminate a book from your TBR for this month and add this one instead, because it was so epic, so unique. It deserves all the hype in the world. I'm so happy that it's getting a lot of hype on Bookstagram and BookTube. And I hope it gets even more hype, because it deserves it. 100%. It was so unique. I loved it so much. When I told you Sarah A. Parker was building, she was building. And I was here for it. The world she created was so rich with the history, all the different creatures, the magical creatures, and all the different regions and their traditions and the different magical ability of people. I loved it so much. It was so interesting and so captivating from the first chapters. I was like, yes, the deal is sealed. I'm hooked. And it kept surprising me, and it kept growing on me and being more and more addictive. I found myself rereading descriptions and passages of the scenery just to try to take in and grasp every single bit of description, just to get immersed 1000% in the scenery and in the world. And it truly transported me. I loved being in this world. This is a true high fantasy that needs your attention and focus. And also, I found that the magic system, the elemental magic system, was like a unique, fresh take on elemental magic, the one that we are used to, and the different species of dragons. It was just so interesting. The world building was amazing. But I need to tell you, there is a lot going on in this book, so you need to focus, especially in the beginning, because you need to grasp the history and how the magic system works and all the very new and unique world building. But once you've wrapped your head around that, once you've grasped the world, then the plot keeps expanding throughout the whole book. And it is so addictive and gripping and gritty, and you will not want to put it down. I mean, I didn't give you any updates while reading the book. I was so immersed in the book that I didn't want to stop and like dissect everything I read. I just wanted to be there and enjoy my ride, basically. It was just so, so good. And it was so, so good. It was so, so good. I have no words to describe it. Even the side characters have very distinct personalities and you will fall in love with them. I mean, even characters that we got introduced to in the beginning of the book and then some things happen, I don't want to say, it really impacted me emotionally. They really impacted me emotionally. I teared up multiple times, even in the beginning. That's how you know the author did such an amazing work. It was just such an emotional roller coaster and an emotional whiplash, and I teared up multiple times and I nearly cried multiple times. I think one time I cried during the book. It touched my heart. The story really, truly touched my heart. Rave, the main female character, our main protagonist, she didn't have an easy life at all. She went through it and we went through it with her, and I think we are still going to go through it. I think Sarah A. Parker is going to enjoy torturing us a little bit more. I think the book is just her way of writing has so much emotion packed in it that I feel for the character. I was Wave in my head. I was feeling for her every single step of the way, and it hurt me so much to see her go through all those heartaches and hardships, and it was truly so painful to witness at times. And yeah, one trigger warning, there are a lot of explicit scenes of aggression. So if that thing bothers you, then you know about it. But there are trigger warnings at the beginning of the book. And of course, the romance. The romance. Oh my God. What can I tell you? We all need a Khan in our lives. Khan is the main male character. He's not a shadow daddy, but he's definitely a daddy. He's in the club. He's in the club, signed the contract, certified, everything. He's part of the club, definitely. I have no words for him. You know how the amount of love and respect that he has for her, the pain that he went through, and never giving up, and the things that he done for her. What can I say? Well, I have no words. I have no words to describe his character. I fell in love with his character. And I was so surprised by his reactions. You know, when the love interest, they argue with each other and she says something that hurts him and he instantly closes up and leaves or does not say anything in response or stuff like that. And he sits there hurting. Khan, no. Khan he's here to stay. He's here to stay, and he's not going to take any of that, and he's going to talk about it. He wants to talk about it, and he wants to find a solution because he will do anything for her. And when he starts speaking about his emotions, my heart split. I was I had no words. I was highlighting passages after passages, and I don't know what to tell you. The romance was a chef's kiss. The plot that just keeps growing and developing, and the characters and the world, and it's just so well woven and so well done, and the book is so, so good. I really, really highly recommend. I was hesitant because I didn't want to read it because it's the first book in a series and then you have to wait for a year, but it deserves a reread. I'm perfectly going to reread it, maybe even before the release date of the second one, not even close to that one, because I just want to reread it again. It deserves that. It is so, so well written, and I loved being in this world. I loved this book so, so much. If you want to read only one book from this vlog, this is the one. Even though I know that I didn't even start reading my next book in this vlog, but this is the one. I already know. Nothing will top this. this is going to be one of my top reads of 2024 for sure, 100%. And I need you to read it. I need you to read it so we can discuss it together, because you will regret it. If you don't do it, you will regret it. This deserves all the hype. And yeah, that's all that I'm going to say about this book. I'm going to shut up and I'm going to speak about my next read. Not that I know a lot. The next book that I want to pick up is a thriller. I know that in the beginning of the week, I was thinking about 5 Survive or The Reappearance of Rachel Price. Both books are by Holly Jackson, but I think I'm going to stick to new releases and I'm going to read The Reappearance of Rachel Price. I think that's the book that I'm going to go with. And I'm so happy that I decided to pick up a thriller after this one, because I cannot imagine myself reading another fantasy book after this one. When the Moon Hatched has all my heart right now. It deserves all the hype. Please, please do yourself a big favor. You are missing out. You need to read this book. You need to read this book. It's just so well done on every single level. The fantasy, the plot, the creatures, the world building, the romance. Read it. Read this book. So I'm going to read my thriller now and I will get back to you with more updates soon. Okay, besties, guess what? I finished The Reappearance of Rachel Price. Yes, I did. This was a 5 stars book. In this book, we open up with Belle having an interview with the producer of the documentary that they are filming about the disappearance of her mother. And she's having an interview with him. And through the interview, we discovered that Belle's mother disappeared 16 years ago when Belle was about 2 years old, and she does not recall. She was the only person with her during the disappearance when she disappeared. She was the only person with her when she disappeared, and she does not recall anything because, of course, she was so young. And this filming crew is filming a true crime documentary, and they are including all the members of her family. And a couple of days into the filming, guess what? Rachel reappears and the story starts from there, and Belle becomes so suspicious and she is determined to uncover the truth behind her mother's disappearance. The book was fast-paced and so addictive, and I thoroughly enjoyed it and found it extremely bingeable. And the mysteries kept coming and I couldn't put it down, and I really enjoyed my ride with Belle, uncovering the mysteries with her. And every time you think that you figured it out, something new comes up that makes you rethink your theories and kind of rethink everything. And I was like suspicious of everyone. It was so good. It is definitely a 5 stars. It was just unputdownable. I highly recommend if you are in the mood of a fast read, a very good thriller. It was so good. It was so good. It played out like a movie, and I love her writing style. The book flows. You just fly through it in a day, maybe less if you are a fast reader. Highly recommend this book. And since it's a thriller, I cannot tell you anything more than that. I just want you to read it and discover everything for yourselves and get that jaw-dropping feeling. So yeah, with this book, I'm going to wrap up my reading vlog for this week. If you made it this far, leave me the dragon emoji. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a like and share it with your friends and family, because that's how YouTube learns that you enjoyed my videos, and to appease the YouTube lords. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Go have a great day on purpose, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!